Hello, how are you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is 8 Till Late live from youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep with me, Tom. Now, I hope you can hear me okay. It looks like you can. I was reviewing the episode from last week and I don't know what happened, but the sound got very, very quiet by the end and I couldn't hear me, if you know what I mean. And I'm sure you must have felt the same. So I've rigged up a different microphone arrangement tonight, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that's going to be a little bit better. Whenever you start making a change to your live stream rig, you start upsetting the balance of things that was working, and then it stops working, which is a thing that can happen. Anyway, how are you doing? Thanks so much for your company. Quite a bit I want to try and discuss tonight. I've got a big list. I was thinking, going into this show, I was thinking we're not going to have enough to fill tonight, but actually looking at it, yeah, I think we have. Plus the fact we'll be carrying on with the Project Rio tiny basic computer build and that pesky power supply issue that has now been, 3 weeks on that, and we still haven't got a solution. So tonight I have a solution which kind of renders the last 3 weeks pointless. But it should work. So, and that reminds me, I do need to dig out a suitable power supply again for that, which I haven't done pre-prep, but not to worry, there'll be one lying around. I'll just nick off something else. So we'll sort that out in a moment. Right then, before we continue, do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. That's right, so 10% discount when you purchase any domain name or web hosting package from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP. Details and links are in the description. While that ad was running, I was trying to find a power supply. Where are they all gone? Oh, hang on, there's one up there. Right, I'll go and grab that in a minute. Okay, panic over. Right, so, yeah, it's been a busy week. Got quite a bit to show you, actually. First of all, obviously with the nights drawing in, I've been able to kind of actually get here on time, so I wasn't late today. I was actually a little bit early getting on stream, which is a first. Reason being is obviously with the nights drawing in here in the UK, I've been able to get the chickens. Those of you that are regular will know that I have a flock of chickens that I keep. I'm a chicken keeper. And I sell eggs locally as well. And trying to convince the hens to go in and roost at night. They free range, you see, so they sort of run around the garden, the land we have here, during the day. And they sort of, throughout the summer months, they'll be going in their run, but they've been like not going in the coop. They've been sort of sitting outside all night, sort of thing. But they're quite safe. But obviously now with the cold weather coming in, we had a cold snap yesterday, so we got down to, I think it's like 0 degree, 1 degree Celsius, so near freezing. Didn't quite freeze here, but we got close. And so I want to get the chickens to now go and roost properly in their coop. And my God, it's just been I shouldn't have to fight poultry before half an hour before I come on stream. And they just don't want to go in, or you pick them up, you shove them through the door, and then they run back out through the opening. You forgot to shut the other side, and they'll get used to it, but I need to get used to it. The issue is that we bought new livestock during the summer, so a lot of them don't know anything about living outside in the winter because they were born and raised inside, or hatched rather, inside large commercial barns and things. Then we bought them, and then they've had outside living in the sunshine all summer. Now it's getting cold, the night's drawing in, and a lot of them just simply don't know what to do. Some of them do. Some of our older hens know exactly what to do, and I don't know why the new ones don't just do what the old ones do, but oh well, there you go. So that was chicken talk right here on Wi-Fi Sheep. I'm sure that wasn't very interesting, but basically that was my life this morning, or sorry, this evening I should say. This morning was a different kettle of fish, having to get up early to go and let them out, so yeah. No tea today, by the way, water, because I've already had about 4 cups of tea. And I thought, do I want a cup of tea before we come on stream? And I was like, no, I don't. You can have too much for a good thing. So might go on a tea break at about 9 o'clock, so about an hour's time. So just looking at the chat and saying a very good evening to AUVM from Mexico. I think I said hello to you in the chat. And Martin is back with us. Hi, Martin. Good evening. Hope you are well. For everyone joining and watching, you need to be a subscriber of the channel to drop into the chat, but please feel free to drop into the chat, and you don't necessarily have to talk about what we're talking about. You know, if there's anything else you want to bring up that's relevant, obviously, then obviously you're very, very welcome to do so. So about a week ago, it was a week, well, it will be a week tomorrow. We actually had, as in myself and Anna here at Wi-Fi Sheep, we had some visitors. Patreon backer called Lee, who is regular on the chat, and he actually came all the way from the other side of sort of Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire area, came over here to meet me in person, and actually we had a meeting here in the studio, and he brought his son Kevin with him. Both of them have actually been on the chat before. And let's see if I've set the photos up right. There we go. So there is Kevin, who's I think 12 years old, sitting in the famous newly replaced chair I'm sitting in right now. And both Lee and Kevin came, spent a few hours with me here, and we haven't had many visitors actually come to see the famous cramped tiny studio. But there's two. I'm actually going to be showing a product or a service that Lee is actually developing. It's quite interesting, and he's going to be doing a sponsored video presentation with me. And Kevin there is going to be running the official YouTube channel for this product, which is an Android-based product, and it's all actually very, very interesting. What's great is it's actually free, so the product doesn't cost you anything to use. And so Kevin now is going to be running the YouTube channel, and when the time comes, which will probably be the end of this month, early November, I will be linking and sending you all through that way to go and have a look at that product when it's ready. So very, very exciting stuff there. While we're on the photographs, not that anyone cares about this, but would you like to see a dog in a birthday party hat? Why not? Of course you do. What a stupid question. Of course you do. Let's go back to photos. And ta-da! Somebody in the house had a birthday. Oh, bless her. So that's Bella. That's was our puppy, who is now 1 year old exactly. And yeah, me and Anna might have gone a little. We've turned into one of those terrible sad doggy people. It's like, Bella, you've got to wear a paper hat and a little birthday bandana. So that lasted all of about 2 seconds. So it's literally snapped the photograph, and then the dog was shaking her head and throwing it all off and tearing it all up. So, oh, bless her. There you go. You see, the things you see when you join me here on 8 till Late. Let me remind you also, as I do every week at the moment, if I can find it. There we go. That the RISC-OS Christmas Market Show thingy public event is happening. It's a free event on 9th of December 2023 at basically it's at a place called Witchbold. It's just off the M5, so it's like South Midlands. We see the address there. It's the Parish Community Hall, Worcester postcode. And I'm going to be there. Quite a few people are going to be there, actually. It's turning into quite a good little event. Originally, it was going to be a Christmas market. Well, technically, it still is. So basically, that's sort of to how can I put this? Keep people's expectations down, because it wasn't going to be a full-blown show in a traditional manner. But basically, because all the other RISC-OS, Acorn computer festivals, basically London isn't running this year. So a lot of the traders and the normal people that normally put the exhibit content into a full-blown show are now going to this. So as well as me, there's Wi-Fi Sheep, there's quite a bit of other stuff that's now turned up. So it's not going to be bad for a free event. I just hope the venue's big enough now, because it's only a village hall. Still, if you're in the area, it's less than, I don't know, an hour and a half commute for you. It might be worth coming to say hello. 9th of December, 2023, from 11:30 to 4. And that's at the Parish Community Hall in Wychbold. Now, obviously, sort of sticking with RISC-OS just quickly, there's been a bit of a, what can I say, panic, sort of, because of the release or the announcement of the release of Raspberry Pi 5, because RISC-OS won't run on Raspberry Pi 5. And it's not the case of just patching a few things. It really, really won't run on the Pi 5, being as Pi 5 is a 64-bit only ARM architecture. RISC-OS is hard compiled. It's written in ARM assembler, and it can only compile up to 32-bit. And even that's a bit of a struggle. Hence why it doesn't run and won't run on the 5 without major work, which no one is going to do, because if you do it, it's going to be time consuming, expensive, and it will break all the software, and then there won't be any software to run. You could argue, well, people will write new software. I don't think they will, because the community for it is just dying on its face at the moment. So so that, you know, that's the problem, and that's going to give a very interesting slant or tint to this Christmas market show. As I don't know where we go from here. It's not a huge issue. It's not unexpected, if you know what I mean. So I've been going on about the fact that RISC-OS won't work on 64-bit boards for some years. Easily had conversations about this long before, you know, the pandemic era. So 18, I might have first started muting this. And it's just like, well, no one's going to do anything about it. And people went, oh, it's fine, there's plenty of Pis, there's plenty of... Yeah, but the OS is such a dinosaur. I mean, it still doesn't support things like Wi-Fi and that lot. Bluetooth Wi-Fi, it's very bad at playing media files. It's still running on a single core, so if you run it on things like a Raspberry 4 or 3 or even 2 for that matter, it doesn't utilise both cores. It just utilises a single core, leaving 3 of your 4-core CPU idling, doing nothing. It can't see all the RAM. You could run it on an 8 gig Pi and it would only see about the first 2 or 3 gig or something. Yeah. So obviously the community all of a sudden is going, oh my goodness, it's Pi 5, oh, it's the end. It's like, it's almost like a train wreck, 2 trains hitting each other, and you're watching them coming down the line 5 years ago, and it's like, fine, we'll just sit here, we'll build the grandstands, we'll build hospitality, toilet block, hot dog stand, you name it, we'll put some lawn down for everyone to sit on, and then we can all watch the crash. It's kind of like, it's not a massive surprise, but it's just, I find it kind of amusing how, especially on the RISC-OS forums, people going, getting quite nasty of each other and insulting each other as no one seems to have a plan. What will probably happen is it will end up being emulated under Linux. So you'll run a Debian Linux on your Pi 5, and then you'll run an RPC EMU or some other ARM emulator. QEMU has been mentioned as well. And then you're going to run a sort of 32-bit software sandpit, if you like, or sandbox, and then it will just run in that, and that will kind of be it. But it's not a biggie. It was on the cards are happening for some time. So that's that. How are we doing for time? We're doing all right. I shouldn't really show you this right now, but I think I'm going to. This will get me in trouble. Right. That sounded wrong, by the way, but you bear with me. Right. If you've been following me on any of the social medias, the X's, the Instagrams, or Mastodon. Oh, that reminds me, I need to tell you about Mastodon. I'll come back to that in a moment. Anyway, I've been sort of tweeting and posting about a single board computer product, which I am reviewing, and I'll just go into it very quickly here. So, just a disclaimer, this is, or when the video comes out, it will be a paid sponsored video. So this product has been sent to me as a gift, and I am taking financial benefit as a result of talking about it. So just to make you completely aware of that, because I'm all for, you know, transparency and what have you. So this is a sponsored product. But anyway, it's the UE2 X1 single board computer. And what attracted me to it was the GPIO here, which I'll show you in the box. That's all pluggable GPIO. Integrated fan, heatsink, full-size USB. Thank you so much. Full-size USB, micro USB. So one full-size, one micro. Power switch. It's got audio out, so you put headphone jack in. So it's got an analog audio out as well. USB 3, USB 2. And this one has onboard eMMC, showing on the back actually, eMMC flash storage. It also has an micro SD card port if you wanted to use that. What is really interesting though is it's actually Intel. It's x86, 64-bit x86 quad-core architecture. And I've been sort of playing with this mostly this week. Here's a crinkly bag with the actual unit in it. So it's a bit bigger than a Raspberry Pi. Have I got a modern Raspberry Pi to hand that I can show you? No, I had a tidy up and I put them all away, which was clever. Oh, where you gone? There's one somewhere. There we go. To show you against a Pi 4. So yeah, you can see it's not a small board, but I'm going to save the conclusion of what I thought of this until the video comes out. Yes, is all I'm going to say. I've tried running it with a few different things. Oh, by the way, it comes with Windows 10. This one had Windows 10 installed, and it's activated Windows 10, so it's going to upgrade itself to Windows 11. Which is really, really cool. It's full-blown PC, so there's no compromising. But yeah, it's been. Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but it's been a very, very interesting week. Is all I'm going to say. And when this thing was able to run OBS and streamed to YouTube in beautiful, smooth HD quality by me plugging my cameras in, you get the gist of where we're going with this. I have not had a single board machine capable of doing something as intensive as that. And it was just like, wow. So my thinking is, as soon as this review is over, because at the moment I'm actually using this MacBook, which I have been since we restarted these live streams, and it's all right, but it's a bit of a pain. And what would be really nice would be to have a dedicated machine that just sat here on the desk, small enough that it could just sit quietly on the desk, and all the AV and the cables and everything just plug straight into it. And I just boot up when I want to do a live stream or a pre-record, because I obviously use this setup and rig. You've seen it in some videos where I actually record things here, especially if I'm working on the desk. So yeah. That's coming up very shortly, and I shouldn't have shown it tonight, but I have done because I'm just very, very excited about it. Yeah, it's put it this way: if you haven't ordered a Pi 5 yet and are on the fence like I was about it, I have ordered one. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But if you haven't ordered Pi 5 yet, just wait for my video to come out before you make a decision. That's all I'm going to say. Love the crinkly bags. They're always great on mic. And yeah, Pi 4s are going to be relegated to the used scrap piles, aren't they, at some point? So that none of mine are being used for anything. We had this discussion, didn't we, the other week about road supplies and what do we do with all the surplus? I'm just looking what else I need to talk about. Oh, right, yeah. Good job I made some notes because I've totally forgotten. Right. So I haven't got any images for this as yet, but this week at work I've been very busy. I've been taking a lot of the kit, AV kit, camera stuff out of this room, going to work with stuff, and I've been shooting new content, including links, a bit like how I present things when I do videos. Been doing links at work for the new Harper Adams Engineering YouTube channel, which is kind of like a third Wi-Fi Sheep channel, but obviously, I'm running it, but it's officially for work, so it's not tied into what we do here. Although it's me and it's all the same kit, but but it's actually gone very well, and I've done a bit of work with some students, so it's going to be different voices, different people on camera, so it's going to have a very different feel, and being all shot on location at the university, at my place of work, rather than here in this little office studio. So that's all gone rather well. It's just I've had to dismantle all the kit, like auto cues and all that kind of stuff, and tripods, take it all out there, reassemble, do recording, break it all back down again, bring it back here, and then earlier today I've been recording bits for Wi-Fi Sheep, so I've had to reassemble everything again. And normally this kit stays assembled in this room throughout the year. It very rarely has had to leave for anything. So yeah, it's a bit of a different logistical challenge for me. Right, how does I wonder if anyone's actually chat's a little quiet at the moment, but I have an idea for a sort of slightly more interactive, inclusive live project right here on 8 Till Late next week. Now, it's only just an idea that I've kind of just thought about, so I need to run it past a couple of people first. If it's a yay, and a lot of you are sitting in front of Windows PC or Mac computers, either watching me or have access to something nearby but it's internet connected, there may be an opportunity to join me on a bit of a LAN party type thing, which will also record this bit of this live stream to use in a video, a standalone upload video about the project at a slightly later time, probably later this month. So I know that's extremely cryptic what I've just said, but what I'm thinking is if we got the green light to do it, I might do a couple of posts on the YouTube community thing that you see on your homepage, and I'll obviously post on the Wi-Fi Sheep at Wi-Fi Sheep social medias about if it's going to happen. And then when we go live next week, I will probably sort of give us an hour, and I'll show you how to set up, and we'll kind of do the setup all together. Then we should all be able to go live together and meet up in this space, which will then be recorded as well. So, and it's got a retro feel. It's a retro, genuine like 8-bit old school type space. So leave it with me. If you don't want to get involved, that's fine. You can just passively watch, but I just think it'd be kind of cool if we get some of you to kind of join me, and we'll kind of do this project type thing. And then, so basically, if you want, would you like to be in a Wi-Fi Sheep tech video, then here is your opportunity to participate without needing to be on camera and without needing to leave your home. That's basically what I'm thinking. So if I can get that together, that'd be fantastic, and we'll do that next week. Talking of projects, I'm also, just to let you know as a heads up, I am planning of live streaming on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve. Now, traditionally, we've always done a New Year's Eve live broadcast here on Wi-Fi Sheep. I'm thinking of doing a Christmas Eve one this year as well. if those happen, which they should do, that would replace a Saturday evening broadcast like this 8 till 8 would be replaced by the New Year's or Christmas Eve live specials, wherever they happen to fall in the week. So I will let you know if we're likely to be. Obviously, Christmas Eve week would be bringing in Christmas Day itself live here on the channel, and that would replace the normal 8 till 8, which would have been on the Saturday, and vice versa for the New Year's Eve special, which are always a laugh. We normally run a little bit later, from about 9 o'clock, normally, sometimes 10, and we go through to midnight GMT here in the UK, which makes next to no sense for those of you watching outside the UK, where it's either New Year has been and you're in it, or you've got, about 8 hours to go or something. But for us here in the UK on GMT, as it will be then, be great to have your company for those live specials. Right, before we go any further, I forgot to do it. Let's just welcome our members as always. And there they are. A huge thank you to our Patreon and YouTube channel members. Each and every one of them are a fantastic and brilliant supporter of the channel, and they all have access to some exclusive content, including the Wi-Fi Sheep People's playlist, as well as other features depending what tier they're on. And we say thank you so much as always to each and every one of you. If you want to join them and support this channel, you can buy Patreon. It's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. That's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. And you can start from £1, $1. Alternatively, from 99p right through to £2.99, you can support via monthly on the YouTube membership tiers. Prices are converted to your local currencies, and they also may vary. Right, Martin's just reminded me I was going to talk about Mastodon. Right, yes, thanks for that. I should have put it on my list and I didn't, because I just remembered. So, I was posting on... Wi-Fi Ship has a Mastodon account, but it wasn't actually on the official Mastodon server. It was on one of the sort of affiliate servers. Excuse me one moment. And it's all been fine. I mean, I'm still trying to get my head around Mastodon, like most of us are. Mastodon, by the way, if you don't know what it was a kind of stand-in replacement for Twitter when we all thought Twitter, or now X, was about to go down the drain, and it still might. So a lot of us jumped ship to this new Mastodon thing, which does toots instead of tweets. But it's not centralized on a single server. So it's like almost like a ARPANET type thing, of a cluster of closed network servers that people join a different instance, as they call them, but you can still kind of toot or tweet back to each other. Unfortunately, where I was on the server I was on, I got a post removed and a warning sent to me, all because I posted about the UE2 X1 product that you've just seen on the channel. It was just a copy of what I've been tweeting and what I put on Instagram, and so you've probably already seen this elsewhere. And they just suddenly that server said, oh, you can't. We see that's advertising. You can't do that here. And then I got a warning, and it was struck off. And I just thought the whole point of this Mastodon service was it was meant to be a free, decentralized social media space for the people, and all of a sudden you've got servers coming up with their own rules, and I just thought that's really, really petty. So I decided I was going to move. Moving servers or instances means that you kind of lose everything and have to reassert it somewhere else. So you set up a new account on another server, and then you can kind of download a file, a database file, CSV, something like that file, and then you can move that file manually and then re-upload it to your new server space or new account, and then you can put a redirect on the old account. So Wi-Fi Sheep has moved, and I'm going to need to remind myself what my address is. Hang on a moment. Bear with me. All right, there we go. So we're now on mastodon.social/@Wi-Fi Sheep. And just to make life a bit easier for everybody, let me just put that straight into the chat for you. There we go. It's in the live chat. So we're now on. That's now where I am, and I haven't had a problem since. But I've got everything else, including all the people I was following. Unfortunately, what I don't have is the people that it doesn't reactivate the people that followed me. So if you were following me, you're going to have to refollow me, unfortunately, on that new account. So that is where Wi-Fi Sheep will now exist on the Mastodon framework. Yeah, I know it's complicated, but that's basically what has happened. So thanks so much, Martin, for reminding me to talk about that. Just looking at the chat here, so Andrew D says, will you be able to put Windows 11 on the UE2? Yes. It actually is already offered to install it. It said you're eligible for an update, and it's going to do an update. So, yes, full-blown Windows 11 x86 64-bit will be running on that device very shortly. It's not quite at the moment. It's still on its stock 10. But very, very impressive device. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to... I'm looking forward to that video coming out, because it's going to be... yeah, I've said too much. I've said far too much on it. But... oh, my mouth is dry tonight. I'm sure I had a beginning of a sore throat this morning, but anyway, right. So thank you for reminding me about that. Yes, should we build some Project Rio, which is what you're waiting for? Now I've got that half an hour of channel updates and notes out of the way. Right, so reminding you where we were last time. Last time we finished and built that, if you remember, which was a power supply that took in a 9-volt feed, and it broke it into 9 volts and 5 volts, and then it had 2 5-volt pin headers. The idea originally was that one went to the Pi and one went to the Mega 2560 board that powers the Rio Tiny Basic. Unfortunately, we still had power problems. And also, those you might remember, at the end of last week, the whole thing broke. And the whole computer stopped working, and I thought I'd fried the UART. And it was a bit like, oh, disaster. So we finished the end of last episode with the machine effectively broke. And I thought I'd really broken something. About half an hour after I'd finished streaming, I was still literally sitting here trying to work on the damn thing. And I realised it was just a dodgy, slightly crusty connector on the Pi side. So that's now been resolved, and it should actually work. It did work later that evening. I know Martin actually popped in on X, or formerly Twitter, to message me and say, is it fixed? Did I resolve it? And I was like, yes, I did. It was just a bad connector, but it was blooming annoying. Anyway, the moral of the story was that this little device here just didn't work. Basically, we still had power issues because I'm using an original Pi 1, and these things, that one's actually cooked, unfortunately, but it's original Pi 1 just like that. And the problem is those things is that they're terrible with power regulation. So it keeps crashing. It doesn't matter how many you put in the correct volts, you put in more than enough amps in, and it just keeps falling over. The only way that it was stable was to power the Pi first through its micro USB, and then piggyback 5 volts off the GPIO to the Arduino, and that worked. So let me pick which camera I'm on first. There we go. So we are going to go from this contraption that has taken us 3 weeks, and you've seen it just there, to this contraption which I found the other day. which is a micro USB extender. Yeah, which we could have saved ourselves like 3 weeks worth of work instead of trying to build and test things. We could have just put that in, and hopefully that's going to fix it, he says. But we do need to get on with this project because I want to have this ready for the Christmas RISC-OS market event, and because I wanted to have a few party tricks and things to show it on the stand, and I mean we're sort of halfway through October now, almost getting there, not quite, and I'm thinking we're still not there. So this prototype is not perfect, certainly not how I'm going to build the next prototype. But it is what it is, and we will get it to work. And also I need to do a bit of work on this 3D. Something's making an awful wobbling sound. That is annoying. I apologise about that noise. Okay, so the thinking now is that basically, because the power supply for the Pi is there, obviously, we kind of go like that, and then we kind of do something with this cable, and the cable kind of I don't know if it would that sit in. There's a hole here would that cable actually sit in there? So there was a hole here. We tried to get the barrel jack in originally, and we didn't quite manage it. It's just solder flying everywhere. It's the problem, you start piling up tools. Right. I don't think for a second we're going to get a plug to go fit in that. No, we're not. Wishful thinking, we're not. That's not going to work. Okay, so that's a shame. So we'll have to kind of figure out so it sort of wants to sit kind of like, oh dear, like that, and then kind of like, oh dear, kind of like that. Kind of mount it if we can. And then this board will sit like that, and we do something like that. Now we're already jumping the cables correctly. UART is in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to refix this better. So, oops. And obviously what I also want to do, and I was thinking about doing this tonight, and if I do, I'm going to have to go and grab some material from elsewhere, as our board has just hopped out. It's that's barely fitting in at the moment, but yeah, we need to get this tidied up. But basically what I'm thinking of doing is to use some plastic sheet just to cover this and then cut openings to sort of help mount where I want things to sit in the back of the unit, so we can kind of tidy up. That's the kind of plan. But obviously I need things to sit right, so we could do with spending a bit of time just getting things to sit into these 3D printed mounts a bit better. But before we go any further, let's just see if we can power up. So I have got the capture card attached tonight. So with a bit of luck, let's see if this works. So HDMI to the capture card is in. Power supplies are hiding from me. This is what I was looking at when we first came on air. There's one here, which will do. So this is slightly older supply. This is kind of before the time, well, the times before Raspberry Pi did their own, when you always had to buy. I miss those times; they were fun. Where you had to buy your own supplies from third parties. They wasn't an official supply, and we meant. Do you remember when we were all meant to use like phone chargers to power Raspberry Pis, and it never worked properly because there was never enough amps in them, even on the original boards like this, that struggled because of the poor ampage and also the voltage regulation design. So that's in there. And where's the keyboard? I've just noticed on the chat Andrew D asking me about saying that it was in relation to his question about would the board I showed you run Windows 11, and just saying that's good news with 10 being end of life in a couple of years. Oh yeah, no, it will run 11. There's no problem with that. It just comes shipped with 10. That's what I've been using, obviously, for the demonstration. So, right, USB keyboard in. Let's just turn the monitor on. I've got here on the desk. I bet you this won't work now. I bet you it won't work. But let's try it. Let's see what happens. So, let's cut to, if I can find it. There we go. And let's power up and see what we get. So far, so good. That is a good sign. So, device is all powered up. That's now working. That's me. Hello. That's the wrong camera. There we go. Okay. Now, at this point, it was fine. The minute we got it to do anything, like load test programs in, it started to struggle. So let's just see what happens again. So if I say load demo.bas, these are basic files .bas or .basic, which are on the SD card. And this is a feature of Project Rio Tiny Basic Computers 2, is that we can actually load stuff from SD card. That's looking fine, so let's run. Color test, we'll just try. That's looking good. So that's the full 256 colours available to the system on the colour palette. We need to chain back into. Oops. We need to chain back into the demo. And binary scroll, which was a demo I was doing at a show. And so far seems relatively stable. We'll say a very good evening to Badger Bai, who joined us 2 weeks ago as a channel member. Very, very grateful that you did, and really pleased you're still with us. How are you doing? Good evening. Thanks so much for being here. I don't know how long you've been there for, Badger Bai, but you've just missed it. We've made the computer work. I don't know if you're on the stream last week, but it broke. The whole system went down at the very end, and we've only just. Well, I got it working again half an hour after I came off stream, and this evening we've just got around to fixing the power issue, scrapping that. Screws going over. Scrapping that for now, and going just with a extension. I've noticed a bit of break up there. That's interesting. I've been having these. Oh dear! I've been having these camera issues. I've been having some camera issues. This is another reason for wanting to move onto a dedicated streaming machine from the MacBook, because it does struggle a little bit. Especially when there's more than one feed going on. But that's looking good so far. There we go. So let's new CLS, working fine, and let's load lines, which is what it was crashing on. List. So there is the base. I'm sorry, the colours are terrible for this. Hang on. Let's B col 0. Just make it a little bit more CLS. There we go. So that's just the basic command for drawing random coloured random lines on the screen. I used to do a very similar program in BBC Basic on the BBC Micro, and so I just wanted my Project Rio system to be able to do the same things. Let's run. Now this is where we were having problems. It was getting so far and crashing. And Badge by saying, I watched last week, just joined now this week. Oh, okay, fair enough. I can't remember you on the chat last week, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to say anything on the chat. You can just watch. It's not a requirement, but we're really pleased to have you with us again tonight. Yeah. So I think that's working. It's certainly working a lot better than it was. But I didn't have any of this problem with the similar wiring when we had the earlier prototype that used Pi 0. So I think it's the dodgy power regulation with these early Pi 1s, that as long as you power the Pi 1 first through the power USB power adapter, it works and it's fine. So that's good, I guess. Oh dear. Let's just clear screen. I'll tell you something that doesn't work. If you go files, it throws a wobbly. It should give you a file listing and it doesn't. It just sort of goes a bit nuts. And I've never quite figured out what, bearing in mind this is not originally my source code, so I've never quite figured out why files doesn't work properly. And that's another bug that will need fixing. So if you have Project Rio at the moment and you've joined our Project Rio Patreon tier, and for the ROM that you can, or the source code for the ROM that you compile for the Arduino using Arduino IDE, which I showed in the first video, which was uploaded late last month, so it's been up for a few days now. This will still have this bug in it because I've not managed to fix it yet. But if we just go, do I change that to, hang on. So we've got these new system commands called hash commands. So if I go hash version, no, version, yeah, okay, yeah, because I spelt version wrong. So it should be, originally it was hash vir, which isn't correct. It should be hash ver, and that gives you the version, reports back the version number. So you see here's version 5.7.1. And I need to get my book out because I can't remember what I can't remember the hash system commands I put into this, which is bad. This is new. This is something that is not stock to any form of Tiny Basic. Sorry, don't mind me, I'm just dropping things on the floor behind me. So let's just check what I've got system commands so I can remember. Show you a few things. So for example, hashtag mem, that'll give you the memory readout for the system. So we've got, we're reading, interesting, 5,096 bytes. That should be, that's very near 6K. That should be 6K. We lost some memory somewhere. That's a bit weird. Hang on. Let's just do a manual reset. Oh, of course we lost memory because we've loaded a program. Sorry, I'm having a slow moment. We got the lines program in memory, so of course we've lost some bytes of code. And there we are. I've hit a bug. I've just lost my keyboard now, which is annoying. Why have I lost my keyboard? So you reset the computer and you lose the keyboard. Right, we got another little bug there. So yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch of imagination, but it's certainly working a lot better than it was. Let's just power cycle the whole system, bring it back up. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh, I've still got the num lock on this. It comes on automatically. So hashtag mem. There we go. Yeah. So it's just over. So 6,024 bytes is just over 6K of working RAM, and a full just over 4K of EEPROM storage. And of course, you've got the SD card storage as well. So you can save to EEPROM, or you could save to SD card. And I'm going to be showing how to build that all on a sort of breadboard, clip together type system in the Project Rio video series, which has now started. This is the prototype which we're building, or trying to build, which will form a sort of what I'm calling the production model. It will look nothing like this. It will be much more cleaner professional PCB when I'm done, but we're just kind of working out a few things at the moment. So that's working great. Trying to think if there's anything else I can show while we've got this up and running before we sort of pull it apart and start working on a few bits. Let's have a think. I was just going through some of the sort of system or hash commands. So we've done memory, we've done version. We've got a command for cur. So you can go cur, and then you can pick 1, 2, or 3. So 0 turns the cursor off. See, it's not there anymore. Cur 1, 1 is solid. And then cur 2 is flashing, which is the default. So that's one of the many things I've got going on at the moment, and there will be some other built-in commands that I've not populated or put in just yet, or if I have, I haven't logged them. So but you get the gist. There was also the program, which I've seen these before, but if I can find which one it is, we'll do it again. So if we load up load short for cursor.bas and run that, that gave us the beginnings of a text controlled cursor. Now this is using the drawing command, so it's actually drawing triangles on the screen. Triangles can't be filled in, they're always wireframe, but we are now drawing with a basically, you know, with the drawing tool, so we can draw a cursor. So eventually the thinking is that I want to get that over to joysticks. You saw me with the Atari joysticks. That's another bit of the project we've got to get working, so you can have some sort of mouse or joystick control, which is the kind of plan. Badger Boy is just asking again, could this run a version report of QBasic QBasics Gorilla.Bass. That would be a good game and would be good to have, or something similar. Stuff like that could certainly be ported. I don't think it would run straight, but it could be ported. And as Marty just said, asteroids. Yeah, you could do a basic asteroids. This is running at 16 megahertz, so it's fast enough that you can do quite sloppy code in basic, and you'll get relatively good response. If you're not going for the keyboard buffer, so you're not using keys to move things around, and you're using the joystick instead. A joystick is a direct analog or digital input straight to the Arduino, so it doesn't have to go through the UART serial or be interpreted by the video side terminal rather of the Pi, meaning it would be far faster to go through direct button presses directly into the Arduino, like for a joystick, than it would through the keyboard. But you could do the keyboard, and that's what I've been running with so far. I'm just trying to... Why is that other demo? I can remember which demo I had. Syncol, I think, was annoying, but let's try that. Nope. Just make sure I listen to that. Yep. Let's run. So this just tests. So I'm just using the bracket keys as arrows back and forth. And it draws and colours, picks random colours depending on where you are. With a singing at that changes colour and gets lower and lower as we get nearer to the left side of the screen. And as we head right, the tone goes up. To the point we can barely hear it. And that's all done with the internal speaker. So that was the singing at demo. And there was the guess no game. Let's just clear that out of memory. Guess no.bass. Which is a very, very simple game, but what number am I thinking between 0 and 10? Anyone want to have a guess? Want to give me a couple of numbers? Or sit here while you catch up. As I said, you're about half a minute, 30 seconds behind me on YouTube. Very long, 30 seconds. Someone want to come on? Someone be brave and pitch in. Just a number in chat. That's all we need. Thank you, Martin's. There you are. Martin's broke the deadlock. Right, 3. Nope. But you can see what it's done there. Is it's actually, we'll try 6 from Andrew. Nope. But you can see how it's cleared the screen, and then at the moment it's just putting text over on one corner, but you can now actually move the cursor around to plot. I'll try a few numbers just so we get it right. So no, 10, no, 1, 2, 3, we did 4, we did 5, 6, 7. It is 7. There we go. So we won. So correct. New game, and we'll say no, we're okay. And then it breaks out of the loop and goes into basic, and we can pick list again if we want. Martin, you're late. We did 8. It wasn't. It was 7. But I appreciate the you're behind me by about 30 seconds. So that's roughly the source code. It's simple source code, but we could now we've got better graphics capabilities and also cursor positioning capabilities. It should actually be possible to do things a little bit more interesting, if you know what I mean. I'm just going through my notes because it's been a little while since I've actually ran the basic interpreter. I've been so busy fighting to get this damn machine working. And as you know, and obviously I've been busy with other projects, so yeah. Just having a look. Can't remember what key test is, but is that the... let's just try that. Oops. Clear, new, load. Keytest.bas. Okay, that isn't what I... Oops. That isn't what I thought it was. Never mind. Okay, not to worry. It's just... That's actually showing you how... If we run that again, now I understand what it does. No, I want to run again. Thank you. If I press A, it identifies that A key has been pressed. And then breaks the program. And if we look, you can see line 20, A equals in key 0. And then if A equals 97, which is the ASCII value for the A key, then go to 50, and 50 will break the program by telling you that A, by printing, A is pressed, and then we end the program. So that's basically how you can have keyboard control with the Rio Basic system. The later builds of the Tiny Basic on the original black and white system, the first one we started with, did do this. It did have an in-key statement. But that was on the very end of that build. But this is stuff I want as stock standard with this, the much better colour build system. So, yeah. Okay, I think that's everything I think we want to do for the minute. Yeah. With that anyway. So we'll just power down. And that is the most reliable this machine has ran for any time. Okay, we had a couple of hiccups, and we're still going to have a couple of hiccups. Remember, this is a homemade computer cobbled together out of bits. But it's certainly running a damn sight better than it was. And for those of you who remember, it was crashing and failing and everything else. What I want to do now, well, there's two ways we can go. I want to build a switch mechanism in the side here. For a very specific reason, which means a little bit of soldering and building a breadboard. And I also need to get all this to sit and mount properly, so it's less of a, all over the place cobbled wreck. So at least when the lid goes back on for show, it'll look better. Although saying that, I probably intend at show to run it without the lid on, so you can all have a good look inside. Right, let's have a look at some bits and bobs. See what we've got. So we've got the other end of that breadboard. Jumper wires, pin header. I want a momentary push button. I bought some push buttons with like really nice long buttons on. Can I find them? No. I have been looking everywhere. So that one is... What I mean by that is that... I don't know if you can be able to see this on camera, but that button there and that button there. So I don't know if you can just make that out. But this one is a little bit taller. And these I had were like out there, much taller. But that one will do. So yeah, I think we'll solder up the second thing I wanted to do, which this should be a damn sight simpler and should actually work. He says, that's the famous last words. How many times have I said that to you? And it hasn't worked. Oh dear. And I think that's a 1K resistor. Yes, it is. So we'll have that as well. It's a larger one, but it'll do. So basically what I want to do is I want to mount a new push button in the side of the case. The method in the madness and the thinking here is that I want to run what's called a sidecar operating system on the Project Rio. So it'll boot, as you've seen, on the Pi using Pi GFX terminal. But when you push this push button embedded inside of the case, you hold it down when you power up, it actually swaps the ROM on the SD card just by the pushing of this button. That will actually then boot RISC-OS onto the Pi. Now, I think we did a demonstration. I don't know if we didn't do it live. I think I did it as a separate video, but I showed as a new module in RISC-OS that runs very well on the original Pi. RISC-OS runs really well on that early hardware, and it actually allowed it to read the serial links. So the idea being that we'll couple the Arduino Mega, we'll couple it via USB, if possible, to the Raspberry Pi, and then it should read it, hopefully. And then you'll have a sidecar operating system with a more of a click and point interface and editing tools. So it saves me having to develop an editor other than the very basic one you saw when we were running the system and be able to put basic commands in. And you can do it like that, traditional 8-bit type system. Or you can flip it over just by holding this switch, boot into a 32-bit environment, and then still have control and be able to copy and paste and click and point type interfacing to edit your code and still interact with the Project Rio basic side of the system. Just the Pi takes over and goes from being, if you like, just a slave terminal. It actually swaps over and becomes the master unit, and it talks to the Arduino as the secondary unit. So that's the thinking. That's what I want to do. So I'm just wondering, should we use this breadboard or shall I use some of the other stuff with the copper clad on it? Let's just grab out the box. Where are we? So we got this stuff which I've shown before, which is all copper clad this way, so you can just sort of cut a piece off. It's quite brittle, but we could cut a piece of a similar size and then just mount. And we'd mount the other way, that way, and then we just put a bit of solder. I think we'll use this stuff to be a bit easier. These are my famous last words, and then it's not easy, and it all goes to what goes to hell. Right. So we want to cut sort of about there. This board is also quite brittle. You can snap it, but what generally happens is you end up snapping all the way down. These won't be as bad as this stuff that you couldn't even drill through. If you remember that, trying to drill through to mount the barrel connector, which just ended up being a wonderful waste of time. Ow. Something like that. And then come across something like this. There we go. See what I mean about how brittle it is? It just sort of breaks up like biscuit. So that's all we need. It's a little bit of board. Creating more mess and dust already. So what we'll do is we'll put that switch kind of like that, but obviously the other way around, because there's only copper on one side of this board, not the other. So we'll go kind of like that. And then I need my pliers that I got out earlier. And just bend over the legs so it doesn't fall back through. then there are these two holes here in the side of the case. Now the case is full of holes, I know, but there's two very large holes, which I don't know if you can just see here and here. And what I want to do is just see if I can just pop the switch kind of... I mean, to be honest with you, it would mount okay in one of the small holes, but wouldn't it be alright? So we can kind of just have like, there's a little tactile switch just here. Like that actually. Just have a little switch on the side. So when you kind of like hold that switch down, yeah, we'll do that. That'll work. And then we're going to want just a little bit of pin header. So, yep. I was saying to one of the students the other night actually that, you know, I do electronics live on YouTube and it's kind of making it up as I go along, and he looked at me absolutely horrified. I was like, no, it's a true story. And people sit there and watch it as well. So we'll cut a 4-way piece off. People trying to email me at the same time. It's like, no, don't email me at the same time. I'm busy. Probably helps you get the soldering iron on. I haven't done that yet. Whoops. So let's do a bit of my favourite thing in the whole wide world, which is camera adjustment, which we never get quite right. There we go. Okay. So I think actually I better just, because I'm having a paranoid moment now, I just need to check that switch works the way I think it does, because that would be embarrassing to wire this all up and then you realise that you've messed the switch up, which would, because I've done that before. They only physically switch one way, you see. So if you I think it's top to bottom. Yes, it is top to bottom, isn't it? They bridge. They don't bridge left to right or right to left. And I knew I hadn't seen my multimeter recently. Where was that gone? See, this is what happens when I have a tidy up in here. You know, things go missing, and I'm like, I don't remember what I did with that. I've probably put it in one of my legendary safe places. I'm sure many of you can sympathise with me on that. Yeah. Where has that gone? That's going to annoy me now. Oh, bear with me. Bear with me while I try and find what I'm. Where on earth has that gone? I had it the other day. Just bear with me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I bet it's in the other room as well. Right, I'm going. I'll be asking the dog. Just 1 minute. Oh, it's here, hiding behind the camera, which I just set up the other day. You know, I was telling you at the start of the stream how all the video equipment went out to my work at the university, and then it came back. I've set up stuff because I've been recording links, and I've been hiding the stuff. I really know how to help myself out here. Right. Sorry about that. I know what I'm doing, honestly. Okay, multimeter, just in continuity mode. You've seen this a zillion one times already, so there we go. So we put on that side, and it. Well, that's good. How? Well, that can't be switching right then. How on earth is that? And that should not be. Sorry, I realise I'm doing that off. Right. Not because I've. Hang on a minute. That makes no sense at all. That shouldn't be live all the way through this. Really? This is what I'm talking about, where, you know, especially when we're testing stuff live, you have weird results to things. That can't be right. But this is why I test stuff, because I'm thinking that can't be right, you know. Hang on a moment. Yeah, so that's how I'd expect it to behave. And that one's claiming it's live on. That can't be live on all sides. That's ridiculous. Right, let's get. Good job I didn't just solder that in, thinking, oh, it'll work. Just take that out a minute. Right, so spin the button 90 degrees. Yeah, I was just checking to see, make sure I hadn't got this in the wrong way. Yeah, right. Now that behaves how I'd expect it to behave. Back into the breadboard. Right, okay. Weird. Saying that I have spun it 90. Okay. Is that now behaving how you'd expect it to behave? Yes. Okay, great. That's that sorted. Thank you very much. You know what, Martin? I should just do all my work with you on live stream to tell me what I'm doing wrong. Oh dear. It's all good fun, isn't it? We're having fun. So I'm just going to push those over now. Right, thanks for that. Actually, now I think about it, yeah, that makes sense. That I got, if you get it the wrong way, switches only work a certain way. So that now works how I'd expect it to work. So that's brilliant. I mean, let's be honest, Martin. You're only come here to see what the idiot's going to do every week, and then you can go, no, you're doing that wrong, you know. I don't mind. It's not an ego thing for me at all. I just die a little bit inside, but you know, don't worry about it. So I'm just using a bit of blue tack just to secure us on. There we go. Right. Alcohol flux. You've seen it 1,000,001 times. Just going to flux up the board. Let's take off the multimeter out of the way for a minute. I'm glad I checked that, you know. I'm glad I checked that because I would have stuffed it up basically. Solder, soldering iron, which is now heated up. Wet sponge just on the nib, just to clean the nib up. There we go, that's great. Just make sure you don't want to melt the blue tack because it will get hot quite quick. Okay, and then the pin header needs to go to buttons like that. The pin header needs to go... how are we going to do this? Hang on. Oh, that's annoying. Pin header needs to... Damn it. Oh, I hate pin headers. Right, so that really wants to go like that, doesn't it? That's going to be a pain to solder. Almost want to surface mount that. Or do what we did before and kind of like solder it on the edge. Because we can't go like that because I need to plug in, so we can't go the same side as the switch. Ugh. Which is sometimes where this stuff, being double-sided, is more useful. But never mind. The advantage of doing this way is theoretically we don't have to wire wrap. Which is why you'd use this stuff as opposed to anything else. So we'll just... This isn't good practice, but it works. And for what we need, we just need things that work at the moment, so... I have to be honest, I very much appreciate those of you that have dialed in on the chat. It's great to have your company. It is quiet, isn't it, tonight? It's almost like people have got better things to do with their time on a Saturday night. Can you believe it? I haven't. There we go. So that's that disaster resolved. So we can kind of hide this button. To be honest with you, that's all we have to do, really. Because then what we're going to do is... Oh yeah, we're going to put a resistor in, aren't we? We don't have to put a resistor in, but we can. It's quite a big resistor, this. Let's just see if we can just get that to... I have got smaller 1K resistors. This, you don't have to use a resistor. I'm just putting one in onto the ground side. Because what we're going to do is we're going to set the pin high on the Raspberry Pi. And this should then run low when we pull it to ground. But we just want to put a resistor in on what will be our ground side. A bit fiddly. There we go. let's just tin that in quick. So just remember, this will be the ground side. Wobbly. There we go. Are we in? Yeah, we're in. There we go. So, as the advantage of this board is, it has disadvantages, being obviously you have to care for how you surface mount stuff, but that works for us. So that will go like that. What we'll do is we'll just put some. So let's just quickly put this pin header on. So. Yellow will be, hang on, orange will be the ground, and yellow will be from the whichever GPIO pin we're going to call on the Pi. That will go on like that. Those two will go, so orange will go straight to the ground pin on the GPIO to Pi, which is just here. And then we'll pick a GPIO pin and couple in. So what you need to do now with this button is just get some those foam pad things that we've had such success with. I use that word ironically or sarcastically, whichever one you want to pick. So let's just pick. I need the scissors. The only snag is you've got to build up a couple of layers of this just to get to the height of the switch. Pulling the foam off, which is awkward. There we go. Probably going to need another 2 of those. Oh God, I do, don't I? Sorry, I'm just looking at. Yeah. Martin saved my ASS again. You need to cut the trap between your resistor. Of course you do. Of course you do. Oh, duh. Yes. Well spotted. I mean, it wouldn't be critical, but yeah, you're quite right. I won't have my pull down resistor if I've bridged it, haven't I? Oh God damn it. This is because I know roughly what I want to achieve, right? But because I am literally making it up as I go along, this is where things like this happen. So thank you so much for that, Martin. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so basically there's this. Sorry, I'm off camera. So yeah, I just need to break the oh, if I can get in to do that actually. This is where you'd have a little circular disc Dremel. Oh dear, this is fiddly. I don't think I've got a proper tool for doing that either, which is annoying. But yeah, very, very good. Stanley knife. Yeah. Good thinking. Let's see how that works. There we go, that has gone through. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that. Good spot. Can I go back to sticking bits of foam? And a good evening to trolling around. Drill bits are excellent way to break. Yeah. I just don't know what I'm doing. Oh dear. Oh, you people are fantastic. And that's why I like streaming and having regulars, because you are literally keeping me out of trouble here. Oh dear, thank you all of you for that. Really do appreciate it. And good evening to you trolling around. How are you doing? I should also say good evening to TB Martin as well. Good to have you back with us. I will read what you put in a minute. Something about Android boxes. But just give me a moment. When we have the new stream set up, hopefully it'll work. I'm going to have it all on monitors in front of me, so I don't have to keep sort of looking to the side. So hopefully it'll be a bit more of a streamlined broadcast. But until then... There we are, right. Just going to turn that soldering iron off a minute. Where are we? TB Martin, don't worry, I always watch. Oh, that's very kind of you. I just watch off an Android box. Plus, I think with the other Martin, you're already in safe hands. Oh, God, yes. It's quite bad, isn't it? When it's like, well, it's not bad. I don't care, but it's kind of amusing when it's the audience telling the host how to do electronics. Oh dear. Oh, it's all good fun. That's one thing I like about these streams. It's like less stressful than doing like more formal videos where you have to get it right. It's just like, yeah, we'll stick online, have a chat. You can watch me. Basically, I'm just trying to get this project done because I'm so behind on it. So there you go, that works. Sort of. Sort of worked. Does it work without... That's all it has to do, is that, so... Yeah, sort of not working. It's a bit debatable. Marginal, that. I'm very tempted to just run a bit of hot glue just inside, just to secure that so the tape's a bit spongy. But I won't do that. This will be good enough for tonight. I won't do that tonight. For other things we need to work on, so... Right, I might need to bring up a diagram of the pi GPIO in a minute, just so I can refer to it to see which way I'm going into. So, because I'm already borrowing quite a few grounds, so it's just let's have a look on the old laptop here and just have a look. Pi 1 GPIO. Here we go. Okay. So 6 we've used. There is a ground on 9. So let's have a look. And Trolling Around says that he's great, thanks, and can't stay for the full stream, but we'll watch none live tomorrow. Oh well, thank you for joining us, and yeah, if you want to, you can. You might think you've seen enough, but no, seriously, it's always appreciated. Thanks for dropping by. Great to see you again. And Martin's saying, yeah, we're all here to help. Well, absolutely, yeah, and that's kind of one of the things, especially kind of with Wi-Fi Sheep and the kind of people like yourselves, the kind of community that are around the channel. And I know obviously there's me and there's about 6 million other YouTubers doing tech stuff, but for me it's really important to build a really positive community, which is why I'm kind of very strict on not letting any old junk or spam or abuse comments for any of that stuff I'm quite strict on the filtering, because I just want to have that, you know, good positive vibe community. You know, because at the end of the day we can do stuff quite constructively. You know, plus, you know, I'm enjoying this. It's not, you know, it's not. This isn't a how-to-do series. You know, I'm not. We are doing a kind of an education, but it's, you know, a little bit haphazard at best. But that's fine. Okay, so let's just cut back. And Badger Bite, I'm here, but I can't help at all. I'm just here for the entertainment. You're here to watch the car crash. That's fine. I don't mind. It's just great for you to, you know. I really appreciate the support. Honestly, I do. And you know, it's great to have your company. And if that's all you know, feel you're able to do or want to do, then that's absolutely fine. There's no. You know, you don't have to do anything else. I appreciate the nods in the right direction, especially from Martin, and one or two others as well who haven't been on the stream tonight, but like to send me in the right direction. So, right. So anyway, we're putting this ground cable in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ground is there. This is what I mean about these GPIOs not sticking. Right. It's so loose as well. I've had this problem. This is why we had the system fail before. It was a dodgy GPIO. Have I got a pin? Yes, I have. Just going to take a pin. And just tighten that up a little bit if we can. Marginally better. I mean, the GPIO on this did get a little bit bent out of shape, but okay, so that's ground, and now we just want to nominate a pin that's free. So 4 would be the logical one, which is next to. So GPIO 4, which is actually technically pin 7. So yeah, apologies, my hand is just going to be in the way when we do this, but there we go. Okay, so ground and 7. So basically how this would work in theory is, and I have actually done this in practice because I did this for a commercial product a little while ago, is you set in the config.txt file on your Pi card, you tell it that you can tell it to pull pins high or low on boot. So this is done in the kind of like the BIOS level of the Pi. It's not an operating system thing. So regardless of the OS, we all have to boot from a SD card. That's the word I was looking for. And so we can pull pins high and low on the GPIO just from the boot BIOS, regardless of the operating system. So what happens is that you tell it to pull the pin high in software. Okay. If the pin is high, then you boot, in this case it would be Pi GFX ROM, and you tell it to boot, you know, whichever ROM that is on the SD card. If we hold down the button here, and again I'm going to have to put a bit of glue to secure that, but if we put the button on, that will pull us to ground, which will pull this pin low. If the pin is low, then you can tell the BIOS, if you like, or the config.txt setup, tell it that you want to switch ROMs, which ROM you want to boot, and you want to boot the Raspberry Pi, or in our case, RISC-OS ROM. So this should, and I've got to do the software setup bit yet, which we might not get time to do tonight. But I'll do the setup. It's just literally putting text commands into the config.txt file on the Pi. So that will mean that when we boot the machine normally, we get Pi GFX, and when I hold down this button at the show, it will boot into a customized RISC-OS, which will be fantastic. So that's that bit done. I'm just thinking now, can we do a little bit of tidying up? On this, which we made a bit of a mess. So this is 3D printed with these legs, but it doesn't sit at all well on the actual Pi body at all. So we could do just doing a little bit of tweaking, and I need to dig some holes. A pencil or something. I need to fire up the soldering iron again. I think one of you suggested this the other week actually, because I've got these. See these barrel connector, which ironically we're now not using. Barrel connector pins here sort of dig straight into this base. It's not really designed for it. So what we want to do on this is we just want to dig, or just mount a bit of a hole, and I just want to clean up this board so it works a little bit better. And if that sits on there better, then at least we're getting somewhere tonight. So might be the last thing we do tonight. I don't know. What time are we coming up to? Coming up to 10 o'clock. So we'll go a little bit longer. We're all right. We're all right. I'm just perpetually tired. So. Oh dear. As long as you're all right with that, then that's what we shall do. So for those of you that are joining us a little bit later, or are going to watch this back on the live stream and not from the very beginning, just to remind you that we've got a little bit of a plan to... And sorry, I'm looking for what I've just done with the Stanley knife that I had 5 seconds ago. Oh, it's not there. There we go. We've got a plan to do something a little bit different next week. I'm going to try doing a bit of an interactive session. I've got a plan for something I've been playing with. I need to contact someone else about it. But basically, we're all going to join in on a project. And you can join on it at home. God, I can't speak tonight. You can join it at home if you've got a Mac PC, I think even Linux machine. And it'll give like an hour to set up. So we'll come on as we normally do at 8. And we'll try and get everybody who wants to participate kind of set up in that hour. And then we're going to do a bit of a recording. I'll record the stream locally because I want to include it as part of a video. So if you want to be part of a Wi-Fi Sheep tech video for this particular project that we're going to try and do, and we're all going to try and join a certain special 8-bit servery thing. If it'll go, that's what I would like to do. But I need to have a chat with a couple of people because I don't own any of the stuff we'd be talking to. But it won't cost you anything, just your time if you want to participate. But it might be quite fun if we all kind of did that collectively together. I think it might be quite interesting. So I will be making more details and information about that as I kind of get it together. I just realised this new chair from last week. I can't sit still now. I keep, swinging back and forth on it. It's great. Right, are we heated up yet? Yeah, we're sort of there. So let's just move that out of the way so you can see what I'm working on. So what I want to do is just in this space here, which is where that awkward barrel connector goes. I just need to make a bit of space in the floor, kind of like that. And PLA is awkward to cut, so it's sometimes easier. Just clean my soldering iron off. Preferably not all over the plastic. It's easy just to take a soldering iron and just dig a hole in it, in all honesty. So and it makes that terrible sort of sweet smell, PLA. There we go. There we go, just something like that. It's a bit crude, but it'll work. As one of you definitely suggested it the other week. Oh, that is so soft and squidgy, that's unreal. Need my sponge just to damp down and cool down the plastic again, because that's gone a bit liquidy. There we go, that's solidifying again. Another knife. Now, what I find with these live streams, and this is, by the way, this is week 7. I missed 1 week out, so we are, we're about 8 weeks, but I was 1 episode short, so we're 7 weeks. This is episode 7. And what I do find with these is, one, this has lasted a lot longer than the original 8 till 8 series that was on Twitch back in 2019. I've still got a couple of recordings, but then I was trying to play games, and it was just hard work to get right, you know. It was hard work to play games and pretend to be interested in playing games. Some of them, I wanted to, but the games I wanted to play were not, you know, the sort of the Fortnites and the God knows what else is that, you know, 12-year-old audience wanted you to play. And I wanted to play vintage retro things, and it just wasn't worth my time, is what I'm trying to say. And I lost the motivation to keep live streaming. And it's only really recently that I've actually decided that, you know, I thought let's try a weekly live stream here on the channel, especially with my new job and time commitments changing so dramatically, that it was worth looking at alternative formats just to keep this channel ticking over. Because Wi-Fi Sheep is a very thirsty beast, is all I can say. By the way, I'm just taking a file just to clean up these pinholes, just to make sure those actually do fit flush. So apologies, the camera's going to wobble a bit as I do this, but this has worked really, really well, because, you know, we've been getting this project done, which is fantastic. I've really enjoyed your company. I mean, many of you I already recognise the usernames from. 1 or 2 of you I know personally or have now met, which is fantastic. But that was broke anyway. I'll take that off. But this is just about getting some stuff actually done in good time, so, you know, we stand a chance. Right. Let's see if that fits any better. Nearly. Just needs take some of this material out here. There we go. And I am hoping we can use these evenings together to get a few other projects done that I don't know if I'm going to get back to being able to even start or continue as standalone videos on the channel, because there's just so much stuff that needs to be done now. I said I've got about a 4-year backlog of content, and obviously when I have sponsored or paid content, then that has to take priority. But as I've always said, especially with sponsored stuff, so I know some people aren't keen on the sponsored paid presentation stuff, but I'm only doing it if I am generally interested and think that you would be interested. I'm not going to sacrifice my channel's audience or reputation just on something that's not, you know, not okay, if that makes sense. Just seeing if this is going to fit or not. I don't. It's probably a bad idea, but I'm tempted just to cut these out because I don't even think they're in the right places. It's just causing problems. I need to get this to fit. Let's take these bits off. And that bit off. Right. Okay. Well, it certainly fits much better. It's a bit loose though. But I guess we could just run a piece of tape, or just run a double-sided tape just on the inside. Sticky pads, where are those going in here? God, it's come up to 10 o'clock. We haven't gone for a tea break yet. What's going on tonight? Okay. Okay. Always check there's no resistors or anything under here, because you don't want to. I've done that with the pies before, and you've stuck them down, and then they've. Okay, that's actually in. That's looking quite good. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is I've had issues in the past via not realising. I need to get this old foam up actually. So I'll put down some new foam. Really, it's tempting to super glue stuff in, which we could do. Shouldn't do, we could do. Could just like stick a bit of super glue and just tack that in. Yeah, do you know what? I shouldn't do this, and I'm going to regret doing this, but let's do it. See if it will hold. Super glue, by the way, as far as I can tell, is the only stuff I can find that's actually gluable to PLA. Let's put the lid on that quick. Yeah, something like that. It's a bit tight because of the cables there. We need to make sure we've got enough on that, so that's where the power's going to go in. It's awkwardly sort of breaking it. Oh, it needs to sit kind of like. There we go. That's done. That's done something. It's not ideal, but it's in. Okay, there we go. I think tonight is definitely a lesson in things I don't know what I'm doing, or things don't do what I'm doing. Oh dear, right, that's in. We're there. Let's have a quick look on the chat. Badger Boy, are you going to do another Advent Christmas Daily video this year? No. I did. Oh, a couple of weeks ago, I did actually mention this. Unfortunately, not. I did think about it, but because of my work commitments and what's happening this year, I mean, last year that nearly killed me. Doing an update. I'd love to. I really would like to, but no. Unfortunately, not this year. Yeah, as I said, I can't. It wouldn't happen on time. And I just can't. I can't commit to it because I'm just so busy. So, what I want to do this year is concentrate on the Christmas content, which didn't get made last year because I had all stuff planned with a lot of video gamey type stuff, looking at vintage consoles, Nintendo stuff. We got that. Where is it? That Nintendo Wii I showed last week that I found in a thrift store for about £7. We got that I want to look at. I've got NES, we've got N64 stuff to do. And there's a good few videos just in that alone. And that's before we get onto PlayStation 2. So that's the kind of idea for the Christmas con. It's going to be retro video game themed for this year. So hopefully be good content. Some of last year's content will go over onto channel 2. So if you haven't subscribed already, it's 2.wifisheep.co.uk for Wi-Fi Sheep channel 2. That's the plan. So there is method in the madness for Christmas. I'm also hoping to do some digital model railway stuff over on channel 2 for Christmas as well. At least one video in a new series, again exclusively over on Wi-Fi Sheep channel 2. And I will be live here on Christmas Eve for a special, it won't be 8 till later, it'll be Wi-Fi Sheep Christmas Eve live, and I'll also be here live for counting in the new year. So that's the Christmas plan. But yeah, no, unfortunately I won't be doing the Advent live because it nearly killed me. And on the chat, Sean Roscoe. Sean, hello, how are you doing? Great to have you here. You finally caught me live. Yes, hi, how are you? Sean is a friend and colleague from the radio club here in Shrewsbury. So I'm a member of the Salop Amateur Radio Society. I haven't been in a while because I've been busy. It's on a Thursday night. I did a presentation about a month ago now on 3D printing, where this 3D printer, which I took down to the club room, it's a working man's social club, and it let me down by clogging mid-presentation, and I look like such a prat, but but it's great to have your company this evening, Sean. How are you doing? If you're still there, are you all right? I haven't seen you in absolutely ages. And Badger Boy is saying, that sounds even better, right up my street. Oh, okay, well, I'm glad, yeah. So it's stuff I want to do, and it's in boxes, it's been purchased. It's been over 12 months, some of it's 2 years I wanted to do it, and I'm around to it. So that's the plan. Right. Let's see if this has stuck itself down. And Sean's just said, you're good, that's great. How's it going? Haven't been to the club in a while. Well, I haven't been, and when I have been, I haven't seen you down there. So yeah, it's been a while. Busy here too. Well, the big news, Sean. Sorry, everyone else should chat amongst yourselves. I'll just update Sean. The big news, Sean, is I've got a job. Well, I had a job before, but I have a proper job for someone else now. So I work at Harper Adams University in their engineering and technical department, and that is keeping me extremely busy, which means obviously some Thursday nights I'm not back until quite late, and then I'm very tired or can't make the club meets. So that's what's been going on, and that's on top of trying to get stuff here on Wi-Fi Sheep sorted. Everyone else who doesn't know me personally or watching this back is going to go, what are you talking about? You can't just have a private chat with someone, you know, a colleague in the same town. But yeah, we can. So I think we've got the AGM coming up, haven't we, Sean, for the radio club. I want to do some. I'm not huge on the amateur radio thing. I am licensed for ham radio. I don't do anything with it, unfortunately, and I should do. And I do want to cover a couple like radio type projects and even like videos. There's a few things I want to talk about. And I had a plan. I did one video on the shutdown of Absolute Radio here in the UK on their medium wave AM frequency, and I actually recorded the actual shutdown. That's over on Channel 2. Channel 2 was going to be kind of where that stuff would get posted if I did more. But I did have plans. I was going to go and visit broadcast transmission sites and all sorts of things like that, and I just haven't got around to doing it. I had those plans while we were still in lockdown, actually. So it's been 2 years, and I still haven't got around to it. But yeah, all stuff I want to talk about and all stuff I want to do, and there's only one of me and only so much time to do it in. It's getting a bit frustrating now. That's why we've got such a huge backlog between 2 YouTube channels, and I've still got a backlog of stuff. So, but yeah. Sean's just saying it wouldn't be live chat otherwise. No, it wouldn't. No. That's true. Yeah. It's just one of those, it is. Yeah, everyone else just talk amongst yourselves a moment. I just need to talk with Sean. Yeah. No, seriously, Sean, it's good to see you anyway. Even if you are just a username in a chat box, it's good to know you're still around anyway, and I hope I will see you again soon. So. Yeah, so I'm just catching my, because I'm seeing a delay on the I'm seeing the YouTube stream back in kind of real time as you're watching it, which is a bit disconcerting, and I don't know what the hell I'm waving around doing, but never mind, just ignore me. Most of you do anyway, and I don't blame you. Right, I'm very conscious about just doing another test with this, actually. Let's just... Oh, wrong way. Something like that. There you go. Okay. Because I'm just paranoid every time... Let's just turn the soldering iron off again. I'm paranoid every time we do a major change. We're breaking something. This power connector is going to have to... Wait. Is that in? Yeah, we'll figure something out for that. So, are you still alive? And the answer to that is yes. There we go. We are still alive, so I haven't broken it too much. Excellent. So that's already looking, as I say, it's already looking at something where you can't see. There we are. It's already looking a bit better, a bit smarter. And Sean in chat saying, still got the Emma Ally or 2 II. Is that to be Emma II 650 for you to look at? Oh God, do I remember you telling me about this? Oh, you must. Yes, I vaguely remember you saying something about that, actually, Sean. Oh God, that was that last year now? It was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I've remembered. I'll be brutally honest with you, Sean. The only time I can definitely say I'm going to try and make the club meet will be for the AGM this month. So I will definitely try and be there for that. Any other time at the moment, I know it's going to be utterly useless for trying to meet and greets and stuff, but I honestly don't know because everything is so erratic at the moment. But I tell you what, our best thing to do, Sean, is I will probably have to drop you a message privately social media or whatever, I'll drop you a message when I'm going to be there, just to give you the heads up. But yeah, as you just said, it was a while. It was. I vaguely, do you know what? I've almost forgotten you telling me about it. Yeah, we'll have to cover that one again. But yes, so we're just about holding together. Anyway, back to project. Sorry. Yeah. So we're just about holding together. So that wants to go kind of like that. I was talking about the idea of putting a panel on the back of this. I also had the idea of, if I can find what I did with the lid. Is it might be kind of cool to 3D print some legs, or sort of feet rather, and so it can actually mount like that. Or actually it would mount the other way. It would mount like that, so you've got your little button just there. And I'm going to have to rethink how that works, because yeah, that's, I don't think the sponge idea was the best in the world. I might just have to I'm very tempted just to run, it'd be a mess, but I'm tempted just to run some hot melt just inside, and that would probably work. That'd probably work all right. Oh, right, it's 7 minutes past 10 here in the UK, and we didn't stop for a tea break, and I didn't start today's stream with a tea break. So I think we're going to have, or I'm going to have a 10-minute tea break. So I'm going to make a cup of tea, and we'll see where we want to go from there. So if you can bear with me, we shall have a coordinated tea break, and I will be right back. lost too many people. That's good. Sorry, I just dropped the top of the case on the floor there. Right, where are we? Sean, gotta run. I'll PM you. Have a great rest of the stream. Thank you very much, Sean. Thanks for popping in. Great to see you. And Martin, clear perspex lid would look good. Yeah, it would. Wow. You say it would look good. It needs to be a bit tidier than that. It looks terrible in there. But I actually have a plan. And this is when we finished doing this particular build. Or got it to a state that, you know, it works and everyone's bored of it. I have a plan with another computer kit type thing, which I have the PCBs. It'd be a PCB build, this one. And it's actually a recreation of an existing system, so it's not a new system like this. And it sort of recreates a 70s machine. It's based on the Kim 1. I know I mentioned it before. It's the Kim 1 Uno project. And someone who I forgot the name of on Instagram kindly sent me some PCBs for it. I had to source all the parts myself, but it's actually powered by an Atmega 328P Arduino microcontroller. So the same architecture we started on with these little guys. And you basically build a little thing. It's on the PCB. It looks like a calculator. And what I thought would be quite cool is he sent me 2 PCBs. So I'd like to expand one out a little bit more and maybe build something into like a wooden plywood case and have something that looks like a 70s homebrew computer. That'd be really, really cool. Like a Capareggio black and white tube set. Like one that... So I did have a little monitor lying around. You know, those little black and white cheap CRT sets I like to pick up. There is one lying around somewhere. Have one of those, or maybe even decant it out of its plastic shell and actually mount the CRT with all the electrics into like a wooden chassis. I was thinking, instead of encasing the whole thing in wood, that would be nice to see the electrics and the internal parts. So I thought it might be quite cool to actually have like perspex tops and things. So that's why you just reminded me, Martin, talking about perspex. That would be kind of cool. Oh dear. Well, we're still running. Although I haven't put a keyboard in, have I? Which is good. Let's. Do you have a need for reliable and cost? Sorry, wrong one. That's what I wanted. I think you've seen enough ads from that tonight. So find the keyboard. Well, I've done with that. Behind me. Let's just pop the keyboard in and just power cycle the machine again. That is the one thing with this build. You do have to plug your keyboards in, even if they're USB, before you power up, because otherwise it doesn't see them. There we go. We're back up. I'm just trying to remember. Can I remember the move statements? Let's have a look. Hang on. Take numlock off. By the way, that numlock issue is only for this keyboard. If you have a more full keyboard, because I'm using this tiny little micro keyboard, is a problem. But it's the keyboard's issue. It's not the actual build's issue. Sorry, tea break. Right. I think it's something like move. Is it 30, 20 or something like that? Yes, it is. So yeah, you can actually move and plot around the screen just by using the move statement. So that allows you to place text pretty much wherever you wanted. So if I go 0, 0, I can't do that, can I? I need to go move, because it starts at 1, 1. There we are, it starts at 1, 1. That's the other thing that's confusing, because on BBC Micro it starts at 0, 0, but 0, 0 is down the bottom of the screen, not the top, if that makes sense. But on this it's 1, 1, and we should be able to go to move. In theory, would 640 by 4, no, it would be 640 by 480, that's pixels. It would be, would it be if we go 1 and no, hang on, I want to go 80 and 1. Yes, 80 column display. So what we've done is we've actually moved to the text point 80 across. So and you see how the cursor is actually wrapped onto the line below, which we can then type like so. We should be able to see less. So yeah, we've got good abilities to move stuff around, and of course you can change colours and you can put lines in. You saw the line command. You can also draw other shapes as well. I think we can go. Let's see if I can figure this one out. I'm trying to remember. Rect, and we can do a starting point of. I think we can say. No, is that I can't remember. Is it pixels or is it? No, if it's pixels, isn't it? I think so. Can we go 20? Starting point of 2020, end point of I don't know, 80. Yeah. So you get the idea. You can actually draw objects and shapes just from basic straight on the screen, which is one thing I really wanted to do with this updated version of Tiny Basic, now called Project Rio, is to have these kind of color and drawing commands actually on terminal. Oh dear. So yeah, that's another thing that works. If you haven't told already, I've slightly run out of things to say what I want to do tonight. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting week. There's quite a lot going on, doing quite a lot of stuff. Lots of very exciting stuff coming up on Wi-Fi Sheep. So do make sure that if you haven't done already, that you do like and subscribe. And if you haven't done, Wi-Fi Sheep channel 2.wifisheep.co.uk, which will take you through to the second YouTube channel, or I believe it's in the description to this video. Another reminder, I know I keep going on about it, Mug Christmas show. It's the only show I'm intending to be at this year. Well, remainder this year. So 9th of December in Parish Community Hall in Wychbold, south of West Midlands, just off the M5 motorway. Mostly it's an event sort of tilted towards everything Acorn, BBC Micro, Risk OS. I'll be there with this machine, the one that you've been watching and looking at all night, which is working. It's working quite well tonight, which is good, which is really, really good actually, considering where we have been in previous nights. So yeah, anyway, the Risk OS show. And I'll be there with a few things, including some of the Christmas content with a kind of Acorn ilk or leaning to it. And also have a few over the development boards and things that I've been working on. So really, I'm there. It's free if you want to come and have a chat. If you live more than about an hour and a half away, it's debatable if it's worth your time. It's not a full-blown computer exhibition. It's a very small Christmas market gathering. But saying that, a lot of the content going into this event would have been in a full-fat blown show. So it's really sort of inflated out a bit more from where it was originally. So anyway, the details are there, and you can go to mug.riskos.org for more information. I've actually also noticed that some more Raspberry Pi Jam events have sprung back up, including the Coventry event, which actually is happening in Coventry. I've tried to see if I've got the... it's not on the description to the video, but let me just give us a moment. If I can plug it, I will do, because it's run by a associate or someone I know. Don't know well, but I do know, and I have supported Coventry in the past. So let me just see if I can find it. Just bear with me. Sod's Law, I won't be able to find it now. I liked it and everything. Where has it gone? Come on. Oh yeah. What I'll do is I'll give you the Twitter link. Are we allowed to say Twitter anymore? I don't know. Let's pop that in there. Okay, so that takes you to the Coventry Warwickshire Raspberry Pi Jam Twitter feed, or X feed as it is now. And there's links on there to the Raspberry Jam Show and Tell at the Blue Coat Theatre event, which is happening. When's that happening? It's in Coventry on the 7th of Thursday, the 7th of December. I won't be able to make that. If I could, I would have supported it, but unfortunately, I won't be able to make that. But it's nice to see Raspberry Pi Jams appearing again. It's going to be very interesting to see how well things work going forward. Because I've made comments on this before that I'm just not convinced that we're going to get back to where we were, in all honesty, especially with Pi 5 being an expensive device, and I mean availability of the older, cheaper Pis is better. We're back there again, which is good. But yeah, we'll just have to see how things transpire over the course of the next few months, especially into next year, 2024. So do go and check that out, and if you are in that area of the West Midlands, it's great to support events that actually are in the Midlands. I think, to be honest with you, at time just coming up to, we're 24 minutes, so we're 6 minutes away from 10:30 here in the UK. I think I'm probably going to call it a night, in all honesty. It's been great to have your company. I've completely run out of things to say, and I'm falling half asleep because I didn't have my tea break. That's the problem. I haven't got the caffeine. But it's been fantastic to have your company. Thanks so much for joining me here on 8 Till Late from youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. And all being well, I'll be back here at 8 o'clock. Will it be GMT or GMT plus 1? I think it'll still be GMT plus 1. But anyway, 8 o'clock UK time next week, right here on the channel. Until then, thank you all so much for your company. Really enjoyed the chat tonight, and we'll do something creative and brilliant next week. As I said, next week actually, if we plan pull off, I want to do this sort of combined project that you can actually join in at home. So I really hope we can pull it off next week. If we can't for whatever reason, we'll be back to trying to get this thing working again. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks all so much for your company. Wishing you all a very good night. Good night.